This is a good one. The question is, why do I need to keep my right hand little finger down when it sounds the same when it's up? When I play notes, why should I put it down when it's harder? Okay, if you've had a student that played recorder first, or if they played saxophone or clarinet first, they will have a tendency to waggle this in the air. But even if that's not the case, a lot of students question why they need this down at all. There are two different ways of answering this. For very young students, a simple answer can often do the trick. They know how to write English, so I can compare it to spelling or writing. I would say to them, if you write out a sentence and you don't put the dots on the I, I'd still be able to read what you had written, but it's not the way you learn to write. So I's need a dot on them. It's just the way it is. That generally satisfies a small student. For a slightly older student, and I don't mean that old, like, 10, 11, depending on how their brain works. Here's the truth, and it's to do with the way your brain works as a player. It's all about consistency with fingering to aid your brain to be able to process things like moving your fingers faster. If you don't consistently, or your student doesn't consistently, put down their little finger for the fingerings that they need to, every time you play that note, a little part of your brain has to make a decision, and it has to decide, should I play it with it up or should I play it with it down? That hinders progress and it hinders speed when you're playing the flute. You don't want the brain to have to make any decisions like that whatsoever. So all you're doing is training your brain to always play E like that, always play F like that. I'm talking with little finger down. Always do it. And then there are no decisions to be made by your brain in the background. With that consistency comes ease and speed when you're playing the flute. It's like you're playing it on automatic pilot. I know something that it's similar to. You don't need to tell this to your students because they won't care, but you might. I learned trampolining and I started 3 years ago as an adult, but I learned that you always learn to twist one way. You don't even it up. I assumed that you'd want to be able to twist both ways. Turns out you learn one way and one way only. That means that when you get into trouble, like when you're upside down in the air and you realize you're about to fall on your head, which is never good, your body will automatically twist the way that you've learned. If your brain has to make a decision of going, I know how to twist that way and I know how to twist that way, it will slow your reflexes and you probably will land on your head. Same thing, although you generally don't land on your head when you're playing the flute. Little finger down, it's all in the name of consistency.